Hey, this is C&D channel. I'm Chris. This is MMA for you. I'm going to be doing my predictions for the TUF China Finale. It's all going to be on the UFC Fight Pass. Overall, I mean, I'm not terribly impressed with this card. I mean, you got Hathaway versus Kim, which is pretty good. Mitrione Jordan actually looks pretty fun. Hioki Menjivar, so those aren't too bad. Actually, Nam Phan, Vaughan, like the name fighters they got are actually like decent name guys. You know, they're more like lower to mid tier guys, but at least they've been with the organization long enough that you kind of know what they bring. I know next to nothing about. I mean, I've been doing some research about like some of these guys, but otherwise, I mean, it's still a pick'em fight. A lot of these are just pick'em fights for me, to be perfectly honest with you. I can't even pronounce some of these guys' names. Like I said, I tried to do some research, but you know, it's still hard to predict like fights between guys that, quite honestly, aren't going to be UFC caliber guys. Especially guys with 2-2 records and 1-0 records and stuff like that. I honestly don't know why they're going with that. I guess the Chinese aspect, you know, but I don't know what they're gonna do with these like really like super raw, inexperienced fighters, you know. But let's get started. On the main card, we got John Hathaway versus Hyun Kim. Well, John Hathaway has a 17-1 record with 5 wins by KO or TKO, 4 wins by sub. He's 26 years old on a 3-fight win streak. Trains out of London Shoot Fighters. His stand-up's always been pretty good. He actually manages to drop opponents. He has some good knees. I remember he got Diego Sanchez with a knee coming in. I think he fought, like Pascal Kraus, dropped him. He hasn't finished lately, but, I mean, he does have some power in his strikes. It's just he hasn't finished. Sometimes he comes off a bit tentative. You can kind of see that in a couple of fights, especially the John McGuire fight was a really big example of that. Takedown defense is improving. I mean, Mike Quicksand Pyle managed to take him down pretty easily from a clinch. But otherwise, I mean, he hasn't shown to be, like, instantly, you know, he's not the type of guy that gets instantly taken down. He is fighting Stun Gun Hyun Kim, though, who has an 18-2 record with 1 draw and 1 no contest. He has 7 wins by KO or TKO, 1 win by sub. He also has 2 losses by KO or TKO, and he's 32 years old on a 3-fight win streak. He's big for 170. Same with John Hathaway, though. He's pretty big for 170 as well. And he's a grinder. I mean, once this guy gets on top of you, it's hard to get out from the bottom. Unless you're like the only guy I know who successfully did that was Carlos Condit, who's like one of the best scramblers in MMA. So, and then he managed to knock him out. Really strong judo, just really good in clinch. He actually knocked out. Stand-up's always been progressively improving. I remember since the Shawn Pearson fight, I kind of noticed that Kim's stand-up was progressively getting better and better. And he knocked out Eric Silva in his last fight. And fight Eric Silva is actually doing pretty well. His cardio, though, is still pretty questionable. You know, I've seen fights where, like the 3rd round, he just doesn't look that great. And that's where actually John Hathaway might be able to get the advantage on Kim. That's what kind of makes me intrigued by this matchup, because for the most part I've seen John Hathaway have some pretty good cardio. I think he's a rugby player too, that's the thing. So, you know, maybe in the later rounds Hathaway might be able to get the better of Kim. Who knows? And in the stand-up, you know, it's really hard to say who's better. I just know that as far as the grappling is concerned, Hyun Kim has shown to be a much better grappler than John Hathaway. I think that Kim will be able to get the fight to the ground, maybe even take Hathaway's back, or get dominant position on him. I would think he'd probably grind him out. more so than finish him. So I'm going to go with Stun Gun Dong-Hyun Kim to win this one. Next fight after that, Zhang Lipeng fights Wang Sai. Okay, from what I heard, that these two are actually some, as far as the Ultimate Fighter cast, they were the favorites to win. I think they were the first picks too, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, there's not much I can really say about these guys. Zhang Lipeng has a 6-7 record with 1 draw, 1 win by KO, 2 wins by sub. He also has 1 submission win by strikes and 5 losses by submission. 23 years old on a 2-fight losing streak. It's his first fight in the UFC. Wang Sai, 6-4 record with 1 draw, 4 wins by KO or TKO, 2 wins by sub. He's 28 years old. He is a finisher. This is his first fight in the UFC. I'll go with Wang Sai to win this one. I know they were supposed to have a featherweight tournament, but I believe someone was like injured and they couldn't. They had to postpone the featherweight tournament final. Okay, next fight with that, Vaughan Lee fights Nam Phan. Vaughan Lee has a 13-9 record with 1 draw, 4 wins by KO or TKO, 7 wins by sub. He also has 2 losses by KO or TKO and 6 losses by sub. He's 31 years old. He's a good grappler, actually. Decent stand-up, you know. One thing about Vaughan Lee is, like, he's... Maybe because I always see him against opponents that... A lot of his fights, I tend to see him against against opponents like Dillashaw or Sanshao that just totally are way above the guy. So I have a hard time seeing this guy's best. I think when he beat the Japanese guy, Kid Yamamoto, you know, I beat him by an armbar off his back. But usually I've never seen this guy look great, you know, that's the thing. Nam Phan, kind of the same thing, but when Nam Phan's on, he can actually be pretty good. 18-12 record, 7 wins by KO or TKO, 5 wins by sub. He also has 3 losses by KO or TKO. He's 30 years old. On a 2-fight losing streak, he's a good boxer. He'll use body punches. He's shown lately, even though he has 3 losses by KO or TKO, he's actually shown to have a pretty good chin. Had a really good fight with Takeya Mizugaki in his last bout, actually. Beat down the likes of Cole Miller, you know. I mean, he sprinkles in some wins in there, but a lot more losses than wins. Nonetheless, I think that Nam Phan could outbox Vaughan Lee. I don't know. If it hits the ground, Nam Phan's ground game, I mean, he's shown susceptible. His takedown defense is a bit iffy. He's not a guy that gets off his back that well. I mean, he'll scramble his feet like alright. But maybe I see him a lot of times when he's on his back against really good, like Jim Hettis, for example. Guys that can like keep guys down too. So, you know, maybe I'm not giving him the most fair break in his grappling. But yeah, I'll go with Nam Phan to win this one. Okay, next fight with that, Shawn Jordan fights Mitrione. Okay, Mitrione has a 6-3 record, 5 wins by KO or TKO, 1 win by decision. He's 35 years old, training out of the Brazilians. He's really heavy-handed with good kickboxing, and he moves well for his size. Also, I mean, I just watched a fight where seriously, like, he sprawled on Philip DeFries and like knocked him out from like sprawling, pretty much. Shawn Jordan, 15-5 record, 11 wins by KO or TKO, 3 wins by sub. He also has 3 losses by KO or TKO. He's 29 years old, training out of Jackson's. He's got some good stand-up as well, heavy-handed. His grappling is actually improving. It's really tough to say how this fight goes. They're kind of similar in a sense. Shawn Jordan most recently lost to Gonzaga. Mitrione, he lost to Schaub. He lost to Schaub before this. I'll go with Mitrione. I think his time in the Black Zillions has helped him refine his striking. When you see him kick, especially like the Kimbo fight, for example, his kicks look really sloppy. He just kind of goes for them without any technique. Wants him against Nelson, even though he lost against Roy Nelson. If you see him like kick, it's really clean. Who teaches? I think it's like Ernesto Hoost or something. That is it. Hoost that teaches stand up in the Black Zillions. I forgot who it was. I know Tyrone Sprung trains out of Black Zillions, so it could be him. But you can really tell with a lot of guys. Michael Johnson. If the Black Zillions do really help a lot of fighters in their stand-up technique. And I've seen it with Matt Mitrione. I think this fight will primarily stay standing. I have seen Shawn do it and try and take fights to the ground. But I think it'll primarily be standing. And I'll go with Matt Mitrione to win this one. Okay, next fight up that. Hioki fights Ivan Menjivar. Menjivar has a 25-11 record, 9 wins by KO or TKO, 10 wins by sub. He also has 2 losses by submission. He's 31 years old on a 2-fight losing streak. I mean, it's still like Wilson Hayes and like Uriah Faber, I think. So it's not like terrible fighters or anything that he's losing to. He's training out of TriStar and he's moving back up to 145. He was previously fighting at 135. He is a veteran. I always say this. He is GSP's very first pro MMA fight. Or first opponent in professional mixed martial arts. He's good Muay Thai. I mean, this is a guy that dropped what, like, was it Charlie Valencia? Clinched him and elbowed him in the nose and knocked him out with that. Got some good knees. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is actually pretty solid as well. You can see it against Azamat Gashimov. Really slick armbar. I mean, he is some real veteran savvy. Hioki, 26-7 record with 2 draws, 4 wins by KO or TKO, 12 wins by sub. He's 30 years old on a 3-fight losing streak. He's got some strong Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. His guard passing, especially when he's on top, is very strong. He does have some good clinch takedowns and a strong chin. Stand-up's decent. It's not bad. But it's not great either. I think Hioki will be able to take the fight to the ground. I think I've always picked Hioki to win. I've definitely overestimated the guy. I don't think I've picked him to lose any time in his UFC tenure. And that's not going to start now. I'm going to go with Hioki to win. I think he'll be able to take the fight to the ground and work his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu game while on top. Okay, on to UFC Fight Pass. And man, I don't know a lot. A lot of these guys I don't know a lot about. So some of these are pick'em fights. You got a guy who's fought in the UFC versus a new prospect. Well, I don't even know if Chul Nam is a prospect at 32 years old. But let's get right to it. Chul Nam fights Kazuki Tokudome. Tokudome has a 12-4 record with 1 draw, 5 wins by KO or TKO, 3 wins by sub. He also has 2 losses by KO or TKO. He's 26 years old. He's got some good takedowns. His stand-up offense is decent. But, man, his stand-up defense is terrible. I mean, this guy gets hit clean a lot. Nam has a 17-4 record with 1 draw, 8 wins by KO or TKO, 1 win by sub. He's 32 years old on a 4-fight win streak. Really aggressive. Got some decent ground and pound. A bit of a brawler. His striking's a bit wild. And it is his first fight in the UFC. One thing about being a brawler, though, is if you watch Tokudome's fights, he is susceptible to brawling and doesn't always win that battle. Man, I think Tokudome might be able to actually take the fight to the ground, but I'm gonna go with Nam here. You chill now. I think that we will see some brawling here, and I think as far as face punching goes, Nam doesn't have the best defense either, but Tokudome, from what I've seen, his defense in the stand-up is pretty bad. I'll go with you, Chul Nam, to win this one. The next fight's Zach Cummings fights Alberto Mina. I very much underestimate Zach Cummings. I didn't know. Interesting stat, his only losses are to like Ryan Jimmo, Tim Kennedy, and like like another really good fight. He only loses to really good guys. Cummings has a 16-3 record, 4 wins by KO TKO, 9 wins by sub. He's 29 years old on a 3-fight win streak. Something of a grinder, but he does have good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and particularly good chokes. But Alberto Mina has a 10-0 undefeated record with 4 wins by KO TKO and 6 wins by sub. He also has some really strong Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He's actually a very decorated grappler. He's 31 years old. He's never been to decision. And he's also a judo black belt who's pretty aggressive as well. It is his first fight in the UFC. But, I'll go with Alberto Mina to win this one. He, like I said, decorated grappler, judo black belt. I'll go with Alberto Mina to win this. Okay, next round that Albert Cheng fights Anyang Wang. Anyang Wang has a 1-0 undefeated record, with that 1 win being by TKO. It's his first fight in the UFC. Albert Cheng has a 2-2 record, 1 win by sub, 1 win by decision. He's on a 2-fight losing streak. All I can really say is he does have a decent double leg takedown. His takedown game isn't that bad. Otherwise, he has no other skills of note. It's his first fight in the UFC. I'll go with Albert Cheng to win this one. Both these guys honestly aren't UFC caliber guys. And finally, Mark Eddiva fights Jumabieke Tuerxun. I can't pronounce his last name. I don't know how to pronounce it. Eddiva is a Filipino fighter. I wish I could pick this guy. He's 5-0, 3 wins by KO TKO, 2 wins by sub. He's 28 years old and trains at a team Lakai Wushu, which is the top MMA gym in the Philippines. He's never been past the second round, and it's his first fight in the UFC. Tuerxun, 14-0, undefeated record, 3 wins by KO TKO, 4 wins by sub. 27 years old, got a decent takedown game himself. It's his first fight in the UFC. I'll go with Jumabieke Tuerxun to win this one. Honestly, don't know much about those two guys. That's a pick and fight for me. So, I'm not saying this with great knowledge of these guys or anything like that. Okay, to recap, I got Dong-Hyun Kim beating John Hathaway, Wang Sai beating Zhang Lipeng, Phan beating Vaughan, Matt Mitrione over Shawn Jordan, and Hatsu Hioki over Ivan Menjivar. On the prelims, Chul over Kazuki Tokudome, Alberto Mina over Zach Cummings, Albert Cheng over Anyang Wang, and Jumabieke Tuerxun beating Mark Eddiva. So that's my predictions for the Ultimate Fighter China Finale. If you have any comments, let's leave them below. And that's it for MMA for you. Thank you very much.